Do you find yourself craving a mentor?
If I were going to ask someone to be my mentor, here's how I would do it.
You don't always have to define the relationship of a mentor and ask someone, will you be my mentor? That's so awkward.
Having a good mentor has been one of the most important parts of my professional career.
How do I find a mentor? Where are they?
Google's where do I find mentors?
You can not only be a mentee, you can actually mentor at really any stage of your career.
It's like a human centipede of mentors and mentees.
Demoted.
Welcome back to Demoted.
Hello, everyone.
Ross and I are here. I had a party this weekend. Ross did not come.
I couldn't make it. It was my dad's birthday.
And he's done partying with me. He's reached that
time.
time.
I'm not done partying with you. I just paid the ultimate price.
Yeah, that's true. Welcome back, Moterheads.
Good to see you all, so to speak.
It's really good to see you all. Today we're talking about mentorship.
Woo!
I'm sitting with my mentor here, Ross.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
No, you are a mentor in some ways. I feel like we mentor each other in some ways, but we also hate each other in others.
Symbiotic, sort of, yeah.
Ross and I are going to dinner tonight to talk about the pod.
We are going to dinner tonight.
He asked me to go to dinner and I thought he was breaking up with me. And I was really nervous and I texted the whole team besides him, what did I do wrong? And he actually just wanted to get dinner and chat about the future of the pod.
We just hadn't spent like one-on-one time together in a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's the end of the year. It's holidays.
Like, should I wear like a skirt, a dress? Like, should I dress up? Like, what do we do? Is this like a date? Like, what's happening?
I've got some new clothes that are getting here today that I'm going to wear tonight.
Oh, you finally got your marine layer shipment?
I did. I got so much marine layer. It's unbelievable.
So I'm really excited. Maybe we might be like hungover tomorrow. We might be getting espresso martinis knowing us.
We're going to try to get into Little Original Joe's tonight, which is going to pretty much be impossible.
Completely impossible. Yeah.
The fact that we don't know someone there is insane.
No,
Joe?
We could never get Joe.
Introduce us to Little Original Joe, please.
Could Little Joe just say hi to us once, the original one?
He doesn't care.
Yeah. We're talking about mentorship. We're going to give you some tips on how to find a top tier mentor. Some genuine, some not. Ross will give you some stats.
Some delicious, tasty stats.
Promo demo, dear Demoted, get you on out of here.
Get you on out of here. And again, I know like we're a couple episodes since the short hiatus, but I feel like the need to say sorry again because the amount of people who texted or DM'd me rather were like, where is it?
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
What?
Like there's only one it.
I was getting an IV from Nurse Ann, Shoutout drip hydration. And I still have the dot,
This is definitely Sunday, right?
Sunday, of course, after the boat party.
Yeah.
And she was like, I was helping some mom in Menlo Park. And she said she's a huge fan of yours and said she looks forward to you every Tuesday morning. I was like, well, that can only be one thing.
That can only be one thing.
She's a Demoted fan. She's a Motorhead. That's very different than a Corporate Natalie fan. Because as we know, the crossover is zero.
It is interesting how I'm pretty sure there is a large subset of people who listen to this podcast that do not watch a single one of our videos.
Mind-boggling.
All right. Well, a lot of people were asking me and they're like, how many Fortune 500 companies do have mentorship programs? And the answer is 70%. Sorry. I don't know.
Thank you for coming out with that.
Yeah.
Before we get into like the stats, because I know everyone's like waiting on bated breath for the stats. Do you have any stories of mentors from your career in your life? Are you a mentor to others? Like, can you share that kind of? Let's soften the blow of the stats with a little bit of a personal narrative.
Not to be in a lot of ways. Yeah, early in my career, I had a couple mentors. I would still call them mentors, though I don't see them as much.
I find it weird now. Like, I had mentors in my corporate identity and persona, and now that I'm just in a totally different field, it's like,
well, exactly. That's how I feel.
It's interesting to chat with like someone who works at Deloitte still, and someone who works in a marketing department, and like I still love it, but it's just. The conversations are very different, largely not work related when we check in these days. Yeah. I
mean, like I've had this, people are like, oh, you should get mentors in your current space. And I'm like, how, like, I don't mean this in a way that I'm like so big, but my mentor would be in a perfect world would be like a Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Like someone who's like built a career on creative, but business at the same, like the people that I would aspire, if someone has any ideas for people who should mentor me, I would like from this creative, like business side, if you do like, you're my mentor in this too. Like, I feel like you're the only one I know who knows this life in the same way.
And I think peers in the influencing content creation world can be mentors too. Like Victoria, my best friend, we joke every year we have our annual women's summit. That's just us two on a Zoom chatting about like, what are we doing next year? What are our big projects? Because like no one talks about it. Maybe we'll chat about it at dinner tonight. Yeah. We can do some mentor mentee stuff. Our producer Talon always gives us wardrobe. We sometimes chat about this. The deep Motorheads know this. At the very top of every outline is a wardrobe suggestion. Yep. And this one was mentor vibe, Natalie, mentee vibe, Ross. And we just ignore it every week.
We ignore it every single week.
But it's sometimes funny to read. What was last week? Something like...
What was last week's episode?
It'll be like eager, coachy Ross.
yeah. No, there was some other like random... it was something chic.
Yeah.
Which was like...
Tech founder chic or something.
Like
telling these aren't real things. There's no way a wardrobe could possibly correlate to that.
Talon puts the blunt down and is like, I got a good idea.
I'll speak to a mentor that I have actually currently in this phase of life. Speaking of you kind of requesting the Moterheads, who should be, it's the CMO of SoFi, Lauren Stafford Webb. I met her through like a brand activation that SoFi was having. I worked with them. They were one of my first brand partners in 2020, 2021. And we connected at an event. It was actually Bitcoin 2022 in Miami.
And you love Bitcoin.
And I love Bitcoin, so that made a lot of sense for me. But I also found her such a beautiful balance of having a family, being a very powerful woman in business, being caring and sweet and like invested in my career and my life. It was just her birthday. I texted her and she's like, I hope you're still with the boy and like you're getting everything you deserve. And she just like balances it all. And I find oftentimes it's just really sad. It's women in like high positions of power can't have it all, are lacking in the family department or the relationship department. And that's just the sad reality of how our world has worked and how it goes. And maternity policies are horrible and all these factors, but she just like really balances it well. And I'm sure she struggles on some days, but like I view her as such a mentor in both my personal life and my professional life.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a couple mentors that are still, I mean, very much in the work tech, like kind of space. I have one who's in sales. I have one who's in marketing. I have one who's just like a senior executive, and they all kind of add little elements. Some are more on like the EQ side. Some are more on the like, I need tough love, like coaching, like hit me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And tell me to stop being a little bee about it. I've talked about this a couple times, the executive coaching stuff I do. Like she's very much a mentor in a lot of ways, you know, even though completely separate worlds.
Is Glenn a mentor to you?
Glenn Cramon?
Yeah.
Glenn is a writing mentor. Glenn is the professor of winning writing at Stanford's Graduate School of Business. He is an absolute lunatic.
He's a huge fan of Ross.
And I love him to death. He's the man.
Former New York Times journalist / current. He still writes.
Editor of the New York Times, yeah.
And he teaches this like very famous class at GSB called Winning Writing. And I actually attended a class with my partner, Matt, this year. And he played one of Ross's videos and the video that Ross and I made, Business Jargon Romance, one of our first times meeting.
Exactly. That was like I think our first actual meeting video. Yeah, ever.
And he's just a huge fan. And he tells the story of Ross sitting in the back of the class with his snapback and bro tank, not quote, not listening, but he was actually taking notes and listening the whole time. And
this is what I told you. I told you, Beck and I were discussing this. I was like, if I put on glasses, that's why I have fake glasses.
To look smart. And engaged. Yeah.
And engaged. And I'm like, I'm the guy who everyone's just like, that guy's not paying attention. I'm paying attention.
You are, of course.
Now, I did get in trouble because I left class early. It was a 3-hour class once a week.
Too long.
And I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to leave.
Yep.
And he caught me.
Yes.
And so I wrote an apology email, but using all the lessons from that class. So he was like, oh, he actually was listening. So I kind of like won him back. Yep. I won him back.
Yeah. So that, do you have, I mean, I guess if it's not Glenn, do you have other like mentors from GSB? I know you have some good relationships with some professors and people within the network.
Yeah. I mean, they're all like, again, they all kind of fit certain. Allison Kluger is a good one. She's like very much in this. She teaches a class on pivoting, which I think was super important for me. It was like, how do I go from being a sales guy to like a content creator? Like, and how do I manifest this and take steps towards that? And she was very helpful, and her whole class was all about making that jump. Yeah. Which I think a lot of people want to do, but are fearful to do. And we've talked a lot about it in this, and she was very helpful, and going through those exercises were super, super helpful. I mentor a couple folks now, which makes me feel old, but weirdly invested and fulfilled. Yeah. I love that. Do you want to tell the story of the kid who reached out to you to mentor him? Yeah. He basically sent me an email, a LinkedIn DM, and Instagram DM. And he was like, I don't know why it hit at the right time. He hit you on all fronts. Just he hit me on all fronts. Yeah. On all fronts. He's a sales guy. He was like the top BDR at his company. And I think like, he just very much recognized that my time was, a lot of people, I hate saying no, and I hate feeling bad by like not doing something, because I'm like, oh, they want this. I obviously want to do it and make them happy. That would make, but the way he did it was just very respectful of my time. He's like, I've got this stipend, that I can, hire a career coach, but I would love to be mentored by you and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, first of all, thanks for offering to pay me, but let's not do that.
Yeah.
And like, let's set up a quarterly cadence. I just met with him, I don't know, a month and a half ago, and he was in a dark spot. He's getting to the end of this program at a large tech company. And I think, and this is a similar thing to a lot of Gen Z. He's like, I don't want to play the political game. He's like, some of my coworkers are going to New York for this thing, or some of my coworkers are going to this thing. He's like, I don't want to go. And I'm like, why? He's like, because I don't want to go. Like, I don't want to like play this fake sort of game. And I'm like, and I think this is going to be an important element of the mentor stuff. It's like, it isn't all like those folks wanting to go and inviting you, like they're not going because they're trying to like secretly fuck you over later. Like this isn't like all, and not everybody is operating this some sinister political game.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, bro, go. Like you're uncomfortable. Go put yourself out there. Go be uncomfortable, because the people who you are face to face with, those are the relationships that are going to matter, especially when you want to get promoted. Like I know you don't want to play the game. You can treat it as a game. You can look at it as a game, or you can look at it as like, these are people who work here. An opportunity and like genuine relationships. And so I really pushed him. I said, you basically have the end of this year. Like you're going to go on one of these things. You're going to come out. You're going to go start going back to the gym. You're going to start doing things you enjoy. He's like, I know. He's very self-aware, right?
Yeah.
He's like, all these things that I'm not doing, I know I'm not doing, and I need to do them. I'm like, okay, so then I'm going to be your accountability.
Do it.
You're going to go do it. And I told him, I was like, he wants to buy lunch for me one time. I'm like, you're never buying lunch for me until you get to this next part. It's like, you can look forward to buying me lunch, buying me something when you achieve what I believe you're going to achieve. So go like handle your shit.
Go do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
So
Ross is not open for more mentees at the current state, but if you were,
I could maybe take one or two more on.
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah.
Max.
We'll see if we get some Motorhead write-ins for that.
I feel like you have a few folks that you talk to.
Not like formally. I mean, Annie often says I'm like one of her mentors. I think we have a great relationship in that way.
Such a
suck up. No, it's great. I find myself mentoring some friends of mine who are good friends, and not actually mentoring, but I think a lot of my friends will come to me for career advice and wanting to make a jump. And like, I just like kind of took the biggest risk, I feel like, of our friends of leaving a traditional corporate structure. And when they're debating going to a startup or a new fashion tech company, something that just seems really scary, they'll often come to me and like ask for advice. And I'm very much a pusher of take the risk.
Yeah, of course.
Do it, you know?
Of course. And it's so much easier said than done. And I think like a part of it is that sometimes people just want to talk. They just like want to talk through it. They don't even need the advice. They just want to feel like they're being heard somehow and like reassured that it's going to be okay.
Definitely.
You know,
another mentor I'll shout out, Steve. He was actually my coach at Deloitte, and we'll get into kind of these coaching programs that a lot of companies offer. Deloitte set you up with a coach from day one of you starting there. And he was actually in a different group than me. And you meet, once a month, quarterly, whatever it is. And he helped me switch into different groups. He kind of led me through different promotion cycles and things within the company. And that was really helpful when I was there. And we still chat to this day. It's funny. He's like still doing kind of the consulting grind. And we're just, like I was saying, in two completely different worlds, but it's fun to.
But then you kind of become like friends in a lot of ways. Like you still look up to him, but like there is still, it's not, it doesn't have to be like our relationship is, we have to give and get and give. Like there has to be some sort of transaction there. It becomes like way more natural.
Yeah. And for us selfishly, and like me and Steve, I love hearing the ins and outs of what's happening in the consulting world. Yeah. And like the politics, and
helps with more skits.
Totally. And so I would love chatting with anyone in that position.
I feel like I have to, cause you've shouted them out. I got to shout out Jonathan, Chris, and 2 Allisons.
Okay.
And I'll give Glenn and my mom. Fine.
Love that.
My mom,
love that.
Business big.
My mom's a mentor in different ways. I mentioned that I was going to get hair extensions, and she DMs me actually the most hate of anyone ever on my channels. And she's like, horrible idea. Don't do this. Yeah. Just now, moments before. I'm like, I didn't realize I had to run this by you. But now, of course, I'm in my head. I'm freaking out about it.
I'm in an argument with my mom right now.
If my mom doesn't support anything I do, I freak out.
Yeah. They all secretly, moms, they all secretly support. They're going to push you and be like.
They're also secretly right. Which sucks. At least my mom is usually. Yeah.
My mom's just yelling at me. I got to cook something for the holiday, for the family.
I thought you were doing a big turkey. Oh, that was Rebecca's.
Yeah. Shh.
Oh.
You go out for them.
Luckily, she doesn't listen to this, so she won't be hearing
now.
this. Oh, she does now? Okay.
She was asking me about it last night. No, she does. Mom, it's fine. I'm going to make the cream spinach. I told you I'm going to make it the way you want me to make it, okay?
Hi, Carrie.
I was going to make latkes. She didn't want that. She just wanted another potato.
That's way too many carbs.
Yeah, there's way too many things. We just don't need things. I'm like, Mom, then nobody needs to make things. No, I just need help. We only have 2 ovens.
I just need one thing.
Make more potatoes. You want me to make more potatoes? You want me to make cream spit? What the fuck do you want me to make?
That's exhausting.
I make these little bacon wrapped crackers that have egg and cheese on them, and they're really, really good. But they're so hard to make and annoying to make. I was like, I can't do it. We went
to a Christmas party, my roommate Katrina and I, and we were like, oh, pigs in a blanket. They're serving past apps. We're like, pigs in a blanket. Oh, let's go. And we eat it, and it's actually a fig in a blanket. And we like actually spit it out in your napkin. You know, you spit something out in a napkin at a holiday party. You're like, oh, sorry, I'm a grown adult. I just spit it out. So
you turn it.
Figs in a blanket, demoted. Pigs in a blanket, promoted.
That's like getting oatmeal instead of chocolate chips in my cookie.
Yeah, you hate that. You've
spoken publicly.
Thank you for breaking your silence, by the way, on that. A lot of people were asking.
A lot of people were like, thank you. I feel heard. I feel seen. Yeah. And other people were like, kill yourself. And I was like, okay. Anyone who cares that much about an oatmeal cookie, be gone. Run along now.
I don't want your follow. I don't want your follow.
I don't want you.
And Ross, could I ask for a few kind of stats from you on mentorship generally?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned this with Deloitte. Like a lot of big companies do offer mentorship programs, which again, going back to the original stats, 70% of Fortune 500 companies do offer mentorship programs.
And I was actually looking into this thing while we were reviewing this outline called reverse mentorship that a lot of companies have implemented, especially now we feel this huge gap between Gen Z and all other generations in the workplace. Right. And we're aiming towards this cross-generational harmony. And it's quite difficult when we're not even communicating with different generations. And so reverse mentorship is where more junior employees will mentor senior employees, and it helps you relate to someone who you might not have been able to relate to before. The prime example is like, how can Gen Z teach senior leadership how to effectively use their social media platforms or post on LinkedIn or make video content?
Do a cringy dance.
Right? Yeah. I don't think we're going to get the tech CEO to do a cringy dance, but it is helpful. And I think when you see this in marketing specifically, a lot of people, like examples in real time, Gen Z will help them build their social presence. And that looks good to younger employees.
Building a personal brand. Gen Z does it naturally.
Yeah. So everyone has their personal brand.
Fun fact, mentees were promoted 5 times more than those not in a mentorship program. And mentors themselves were promoted 6 times more.
The retention rates were significantly higher for mentees, 72%, and for mentors, 69%, than for employees who did not participate. So even giving mentorship and giving of yourself and giving of your time, I hear it in your voice when you're speaking about your mentee. It's like, it helps you feel fulfilled in some way.
Totally. It's like, I've been there. I've seen some shit. Like I remember, it's so weird to feel old and be like, I remember when I was in that position, like fuck this. I don't want to play no games. I just want to do my job and excel. And, but I think the big piece is like, what this really boils down to is just having relationships.
Yes.
Like it's relationships. Humans crave relationships. Despite what a lot of people say, like, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to be around people. It's like, it's kind of a, what's the word? It's not self-fulfilling prophecy. It's kind of like compounding issue. If you don't go have relationships, you're going to be sadder. You're going to be more mad about relationships. You're going to be like, I hate all people. But like the actual human psyche does crave and want relationships.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's you work for people and you work with people. When you leave, like what makes it hard to leave is the people.
Canva just released a Love Your Work kind of study about appreciation in the workplace. And they said 50% of the people who feel most appreciated are working in an office in some way.
Yeah.
They're able to see each other, be on the floor. This obviously does not apply to everyone. And we don't want to be the corporate bootlickers who are telling you to go into the office, but
I'll put my tongue away.
Put your tongue away. But you do sometimes feel more appreciated and fulfilled when you're with these people physically and in person, even if one day a week.
Yeah, the Slack thumbs up emoji doesn't exactly give you the gratitude that you're
right.
Seeking,
that just like a great job and maybe even a physical pat on the back does. Yeah.
What type of mentorship is there? Are there different types of mentorship?
Yeah, I mean, we were mentioning, I think peer mentors is something we don't think about. Like, can someone who you're a peer with in your company, maybe you both come in as new hires, maybe you come in as a new hire and they've been in that kind of analyst role for a while, maybe even a few months before you. Can you have a peer mentor or a friend outside of your work? I think we look at friends as like, oh, they don't know anything about work. We don't know what our friends do during the day. You know, we just hang out on weekends. But like your friends can offer valuable insights. I view my friends from Notre Dame as some of the most intelligent women ever. Like I look to them for so much advice. And so don't poo-poo
don't poo-poo your friends.
Don't poo-poo the prospect of learning something from a friend beyond drinking an espresso martini together.
And maybe this is less like, again, I'm having lots of realizations about age at this point. But Beck and I ran into a guy who I went to college with, and he's like a director at UCSF, like in the medical world. And we're like, holy shit, like he's responsible for, he's like 3 years. He was like a freshman when we were seniors. Yes. I'm like, he's running this whole thing at this hospital. Like
totally.
That's Mike. What are you talking about? Mike's running this shit.
When you see on LinkedIn, you're like, how did she get promoted to director? Her and I used to be at the bar hammered.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's such a realization.
It's so funny. But there's also career mentors, which is, primarily focusing like in the career. We talked about this. A lot of mentors serve different purposes. Yep. Career mentors and then life mentors, which for me is like very much blended this executive coach things. Like where does work exist in the context of your whole life versus the folks who are like, well, how do we get promoted? Like what's the next company you should work at? What role should you think about? Here's who you should meet, and think about like that trajectory. So there's a lot of different elements of mentorship. Does
your executive coach kind of hit on a little therapy as well?
Yeah, for sure.
Because my roommate just went to coaching, like a coaching session, and she was like, why was I crying in the first session?
Yeah.
Like it does get emotional.
Did you like it?
Loved it. Yeah. And coaches Matt's actually in like a coaching class. I don't know if you I think Arbuckle does it.
Yeah, I didn't take it.
You're not really giving advice. You're just asking questions to try to get them down a certain path. And so that's
they're not clinically licensed.
No,
like
therapists. All the ideas are living inside you and coming from you. So if you're considering coaching, you feel like you're stuck between jobs or like confused, I would suggest career coach.
Career coach. Yeah.
Obviously pre-vet them, look at reviews, make sure they're not some like Instagram guru who's claiming to be a career coach, because there's a lot of fakes out there.
Yeah, and not everybody's a fit for everybody. Like someone who works for me might not work for you, and it depends on like what you're looking for, what you want. So
definitely.
Let's read a quote from Talon that he put on here. Mentoring must be personal and not bureaucratic. If the program comes off as another obligatory HR program, mentees and mentors are likely to resent or merely go through the motions. Yeah, no fucking shit.
Thank you, Talon.
Damn it.
That's a quote from Talon. Just kidding. He probably pulled that from somewhere.
He
tagged in the comments that we can't see the source.
It was Forbes. It was definitely Forbes, because that was the top thing. A lot of these stats are from Forbes, including this next one. Would you like to read it?
76% of people think mentors are important, but only 37% have one.
It's the classic, a lot of people know, but nobody takes action.
And so, how do you go about getting a mentor, right? We've given you all these juicy stats. I think it's way easier said than done. Ross had someone hit him up on all channels, very genuine kind of give to get. I want to pay you.
Yeah.
I'll tell a story. When I was in business boot camp, I was in the liberal arts college, and they sent like 10 of us. You had to apply to get into this business boot camp where they taught us what business was.
Yeah.
Because we were just reading, literature texts and
I'm still not clear what
talking about our
is.
Feelings, right? Yeah. An English major doesn't count for anything these days, but we went to this business boot camp, and we went to different companies, and someone would speak who was like a Notre Dame alumni. And they would say, talk about what they do at the company, what the company does. We went to an advertising agency. We went to a consulting firm. And at the end of every session, this one girl would shoot her hand in the air and say, will you be my mentor? The guy or girl would be like, I'm sorry, and who are you?
Yeah.
Like it was so uncomfortable. It became such a bit by the end of it. My friend Maddie and I were both in boot camp. We're like, if she asks one more time, I swear to God. And they all had to like dodge it. It was very awkward. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, let's chat after this. Kind of who are you? Basically like, no, that's not how you ask. So like, how do you ask? How do you go about this? Let's say you don't have a coaching program established at your company.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard. And I think you have to also, let's just upfront say, be ready for no, or be ready for no response at all. A lot of times it takes multiple touch points. Like it did for me with Derek. Like I wasn't like yes immediately. I think it starts with making the ask. It starts with saying, the adage you hear is like, ask for money, get advice, ask for advice, get money.
Yes. I would say you don't have to define the relationship. You don't have to DTR. So while asking to be a mentor, maybe that will come. I think you could just, you fall into mentorship naturally. It starts with a coffee chat. It starts with you meeting someone maybe outside of your work function, taking a bit of their time. But you don't have to immediately be like, will you be my mentor? I think that's what turned me off in this story I told. It's like, let's not DTR, let's hook up a few times.
Let's
go on a date and hook up a few times, right? I don't know. And then when you start this relationship with someone without defining it, always thank them for their time. Follow up, right? That's like a tip I'll give. This person won't want to be your mentor if you're not super appreciative of the time you're giving.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like a good personal email up front of like, you've got an incredible story. You've done X, Y, Z. Like I'm strongly considering a career in this or wanting to go this direction. I'd love to hear about how you thought about it or any pitfalls or advice you might have. Like starting there really simple. It may be a phone call. It may be just a little virtual, whatever. You're not always going to get to go in person. Like I would say actually value their time.
Yes.
Like upfront, value their time.
Yes.
That was the biggest thing for me.
Show that. Like you don't immediately deserve this time. I think with Derek too, what you mentioned is setting up a consistent cadence. You do quarterly.
Yep.
If this person, especially if they're outside your work function, you're not seeing them all the time or interacting with them, be like, I'd love to check in every quarter. Like, would that be okay with you to take some of that time and just get it on the calendar? You can always move it, but just having it there.
Get it there, get that standing meeting. Cause then as it approaches, like for me, it's like a week or two out. I'm like, I have stuff like scheduled there, or I need to schedule something like, let's push to this day. And then as you get closer, you start to hone in on the time and so forth. But
another thing that you mentioned, Ross, is have multiple mentors. Yep. Don't rely heavily on one person, especially if they're in your exact job and your company. That's a very narrow lens. I think it helps when you have people outside of your company, outside of your function, like to learn diverse perspectives and not put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, I mean, think of your mentors as your board of directors.
Yeah, right? I love that.
They're all like different expertise, different points of view. You want as many of those as you can, and then you'll make whatever educated choice that you will.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think having a good mentor is massive in your career. Just not even just like this tactical advice, but just someone who's been through it, who's just can give you some perspective that it's not all that important.
Yeah.
You know, life's going to be okay.
Life will be okay.
Let's give some advice on how to find a top tier mentor.
Take a seat in first class and ask your neighbor to be your mentor before the air marshal escorts you back to coach.
Won't be awkward at all. I'm sure they'll say yes.
Learn
the skill of card throwing and flick your business card into really nice cars.
Yeah, that's a 2-part tip. You know, get a business card and then learn the skill of card flicking.
Everybody has it. Anyone can learn that.
Yeah. Short circuit the elevator to trap your role model in a conversation. We always say the elevator pitch.
Right.
You only get one chance to do it. Cut a few wires. See what happens.
Smash the emergency button.
Yep.
Create a shrine and creepy voodoo doll of your mentor and then send them a video of you petting said voodoo doll.
I love dolls. I love petting dolls. Do you think anyone has a voodoo doll of you?
Yes. I know someone who does.
No, you don't.
I do. She's awesome and it's not as creepy as it sounds. She had someone give her, because she's like a big fan of the Corp Bro videos. She's a sales trainer now. And she had someone basically gave her a doll that is me. And it sits in the back of like her little Zoomies.
Stop it.
Yeah.
How'd you get a doll make? Like a little Etsy situation?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I choose not to ask the hard questions.
Yeah, no, I'd rather not know.
Yeah. Well, still cracks me up. It still appears every now and then. I get reminded of it. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Hope she doesn't do any weird shit with that doll. Let me just tell you that. Caddy at a high-end country club and hide in your prospective mentor's golf bag. Jump out when they get back to your house.
Oh, it's me, your mentee.
Yeah.
What? Excuse me?
Why are you in my kitchen?
Dress up as your target mentor's estranged child and then sit in the front row of their panel discussion.
I love that. And it's like, of course, your target mentor does have an estranged child.
Obviously, I've done my research.
Yeah, I know. You know.
And I know exactly what they would wear.
Attend a networking event, grab the mic, and proclaim, "Who of you will guide me through life's labyrinth?"
Who of you will guide me through life's labyrinth?
Line starts here.
I will. Probably not do that.
No one is raising their hand. This is so awkward.
Build a long, illustrious career in law, become a Supreme Court justice, and then create a law requiring them to be your mentor.
I love that.
That's the long game.
It's going to take time.
That's the long game.
It's going to take
Good
time.
investment, though.
Worth it.
Yeah.
I have a small story about like grabbing the mic and proclaiming something. I was at this Canva shoot day in LA. Annie and I went. I had to basically go into a room of actual Canva employees of like 20 of them just staring back at me and do a whole bit as I was like the crazy HR manager.
Yeah.
And I told them before, I'm like, guys, basically like don't react, don't laugh, like pretend that I'm absurd and they're going to try to get, your reactions. And then they actually did it and just didn't crack a single smile. I was like, okay. We cut. I was like, so that hurt a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Maybe you could pretend to chuckle once.
Yeah,
But of course, now that they've seen it fresh and we have to now replay it 3 times, like they're only getting more serious.
Yeah.
So it's horrible.
Just straight face gang everywhere.
Deadpan. Yeah. So I wish I proclaimed something a little more meaningful there.
They followed the directions.
Oh, but what I said was like, guys, hold the applause. Seriously, hold the applause. Yeah. And they were just like, what
applause?
No one's applauding. So
wait, so this is supposed to be funny, okay?
Got it. In light of our discussions about mentorship and kind of community and building a community at work, did you know there's a new home for sales pros around the world? Introducing Sales Blazer, a community created by Salesforce. The Sales Blazer community is the place for you to learn new skills, connect with peers, and grow your career.
It's so important in sales. I mean, we've talked about this a million times. Nothing bonds salespeople like a good trauma.
Yes.
You know, I think one of the most influential parts of my sales career was the people who I sat with.
Yes.
And nowadays when companies are remote and there's lots of different industries and lots of different ways to do things, having a centralized spot where you can get that kind of information, super, super important.
If you're interested in joining this community, members get free access to networking opportunities, best-in-class sales advice and resources, invites to exclusive professional meetups and events, curated job postings, and more. Consider this your official invite. Head over to salesblazer.com and join the SalesBlazer community today.
You will not find a group with more access to more data and more sales professionals than SalesBlazer.
Little promo demo.
Yeah.
I'll kick us off. Great. Promoted or demoted? Yelling, woo, in a crowded place.
Demoted. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. That's the war cry of a marketer.
Is that like, woo! Is it a silent place, or is it a place where maybe you're at like a concert or you're listening to a keynote speaker or the plane lands?
Yeah. That's a good question. Those are important context.
One thing I really don't like is when you're at a concert and the person performing is begging you to be quiet so they can do like their acoustic number, and someone just has to be the guy to be like, I love you, Maggie Rogers.
Yeah. Where everyone gets quiet except for one person screams.
That is demoted.
Yeah.
But it's yelling woo in a crowded place, like I do find that kind of funny. Woo.
Yeah. That actually is one of the bits I do when I speak is anytime I hear woo, I point and I say marketer.
I like that.
Because that's just a war. That's what they do.
It's a war cry.
It's a war cry. Woo.
Woo.
That person markets. I can just tell.
I'm maybe I don't like it because I'm
sales
a wooer.
People are like, fuck yeah.
I'm such a wooer. Yeah.
A woo girl. Yeah.
Promoted or demoted guest speaking at your alma mater?
I don't know. Never done it.
Have you spoken at Occidental or Stanford?
Nope. I've spoken at other places, other schools.
.edus don't have a huge budget. So
no, I've never been paid to speak at any.
Yeah, I've never been paid. Yeah. Notre Dame was like, you could come and you would buy your flights, but then we would host you to speak.
Right. And we have a really good cafeteria.
And we have lunch. Yeah.
We have lunch. Yeah. Can we get you? And you're like, I'll do it.
I'm in.
I'll do it. Yeah. No, Occidental's waiting. I think they've got a few other folks they might want first, but I gotta be top 1,000.
Top 1,000 for sure.
Top 1,000. I'll get Obama. And Stanford's, needless to say, they got plenty of people.
I don't think Notre Dame is really into kind of the influencer economy yet. They're kind of into the God and like toxic capitalism, like God and investment banking. I think are their two bread and butter.
That sounds like the world.
Yeah. So
God and toxic capitalism. Sign me up.
The day we speak at our alma maters, you will know.
You'll know. Promoted, demoted, strapping Christmas trees to your car.
Do you get a Christmas tree?
Yeah.
You do. Do you strap it to your car? Do you chop it down and strap it to your car?
I do not chop it down. I have chopped it down, but I don't do that anymore. I go to the one in the marina. It's either the guardsman. I go to the guardsman, or there's the one at the like elementary school.
Got it. And you just choose.
I go whichever one's less busy. I mean, everybody who works at the guardsman one is a sales bro.
So,
bro, I've been doing this for like 6 years, man. You like got to come through the party. Did you go to the party last year?
No, but Annie and I were doing like, I'm going to go to the tree lot and film content there because it's a good cause. Annie wrote a script for that. And particularly all of them are like my age sales bros who are running this thing, like attractive dudes.
I know.
And the bit that Annie wrote is your dad getting a Christmas tree. So I'm going to be wearing a man's wig.
There you go.
Running around in an ugly Christmas sweater with a pillow under my shirt, screaming a bit.
I can't wait.
And I can't wait for them, those big, strong men, to help, get the tree, strap it to my Audi.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, God, the Christmas tree, and then we leave it in the house for way too long.
You go to Hawaii,
I like
dying,
touch it, every little like
pine needle
falls
drops,
to the ground.
Yeah. My parents have converted to fake. I'm kind of into fake. It's like a little bit exhausting. So
yeah, but then they have to store it.
Matt lives in this house. I told you, the really high ceilings. Yeah. Where they play beer die. So I think they're going to get like a 40-foot tree.
That's wild.
And it'll be there till they graduate for sure.
I'm going to strap it to the ceiling of my car because I don't want pine needles in my car.
You'll strap it to the Range Rover.
Anyway, I'm going to lay down blankets on the top of the Range Rover.
Ross got a new car and he actually hasn't used it yet. It just sits and it's just depreciating on your lot.
It's just in the garage. It's in the garage.
I'm like, when are you going to pick me up in the range? Like, when will I get to see it?
Dinner tomorrow.
Maybe next year?
Tomorrow. I'll pick you up tomorrow.
I'll take my shoes off.
Yeah, please. I'm going to put towels on your seat.
You're literally so weird with the car. Okay, one more. Promoted or demoted secret admirers.
I mean, kind of flattering.
So flattering.
It's so flattering. Don't be a secret.
Don't be a secret. Just admire publicly.
Yeah, admire publicly, admire in my face, and let me
feel better about myself.
See who the hell you are.
Promoted.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah. All my secret admirers are women, and I love them.
Yeah, same. Mine are all dudes who are just like, when are you going to do the OnlyFans? And I'm like, dude, I'm trying.
Maybe soon. Yeah.
Depends
I actually started it. I just don't have any subs.
Depends on if these tariffs hit.
Yeah, we'll see.
Then I'm going to have to start the OnlyFans.
That'll be a different episode. Yeah. We're just naked in the beanbags.
Don't ever say anything about it.
No. Welcome back to Demoted, everyone.
You've got the black bar up here. I've got the black bar. Those are censorship bars we're referring to, people. So
here are some outrageous ways to fire someone.
Tell everyone to raise their hand if they still work at the company. No. Not so fast, Jeremy.
You don't work here no more.
You don't work here anymore, big guy.
No. Invite them to karaoke night and suddenly sign them up to sing Hit the Road, Jack. And then instead of the mic, hand them a severance letter. Hit the road, Jack.
I wouldn't even be mad.
We ain't going back no more,
I'm like, this is so unbelievably creative. Fine.
Thank you.
You know what? Take the severance.
He must really not have wanted me here. Yeah.
Start a text thread about something important with your entire team, then discuss it at work. And when that one person says, wait, what was this about? Say, ooh, sorry, that's just for people who still work here.
Creative and really hurtful.
And ruthless.
Yeah. If I'm like not in a group text, I'm like, oh my God, why?
Yeah.
Like I'll publicly to someone if they're like, oh, they sent it in the group chat. I'm like, which one? Where? I didn't see it. And I don't even respond. I'm a silent listener, as you know.
That's true.
Lurker. I'm a lurker. But
what about the pain of being the last message in the group thread? That wasn't supposed to be a final message. I saw this bit in a group thread.
I saw this bit that was like a guy sitting on a couch, like, oh, they're going to love this one. If I have another espresso martini, I swear I'm going to turn into one. Send, puts phone down. It's like the mental spiral of him realizing that no one's responding to his joke.
That's me right now. I'm in a group of, I only know 2 of the numbers in it. There's like 10 people in it. To go to Gladiator 2.
And you took a risk.
I took a risk. I said, who else is wearing chainmail with me? I'm dead serious. And that is the most recent thing. We're now coming up on 16 hours.
Ross has stopped the podcast to check his phone 6 times. He's so nervous. He's wondering maybe they'll text
Not even a ha-ha.
Ha-ha. You can't even ha-ha it. That hurts so bad.
Everyone's like, who the fuck is this random number? Because I don't know anybody in this thread.
Ow. My heart hurts for you. Hire a magician to come for a team bonding event and make the future unemployed person disappear and then announce to the crowd that they'll unfortunately never be seeing them again.
They're no longer with us.
Yeah, no, they've actually expired. Disappeared.
Yeah. You will never see these people again. Tell the person that they're interviewing for promotion. Then let them know they've gotten the promotion and their new title will be customer.
What a great promotion.
Promoted to
That's
customer.
One of my favorite jokes of yours.
Promoted to customer.
Yay.
There. We should remake that. We should do some other version of that.
Set off a fire alarm, evacuate the building, and then announce only the employed may return in. Sorry, Amanda. You can stay out here on the lawn.
Yeah. No, you can literally do whatever you want because you don't work here.
Excellent evacuation.
Except go inside.
Now hand me your badge.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Tell the person you're about to fire that you're going on a client visit, but instead bring them to a graveyard where you've already crafted a headstone that says, here lies Jeremy's career at Acme Corp. It's long. It's a lot.
It's almost like becoming a Supreme Justice long. It takes so much effort.
Getting a headstone made these days, not cheap either, but effective.
Headstone market is booming.
And if you don't put their name on it, you could probably reuse it.
Flip it around.
You do the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. Give them a beautifully bound book titled End of an Era, Your Time at Company Name.
I would take that home.
The book is blank after chapter 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chapter 2, your career here. Chapter 3. You write your own story.
It's a blank page, sister.
Write the next journey, the next chapter of your journey.
Pick up your quill and write. So those have nothing to do with mentorship, but we just wanted to do that for a social clip because we haven't been on our social clip game recently. We gotta up it. We talk about mentorship and maybe you're not in an office, maybe you're not employed currently. There is a way to find a mentor from the comfort of your home. And it might not be a mentor in the way we're talking about, but it's Masterclass.
Masterclass is the only streaming platform where you can learn and grow with 200 plus of the world's best. And that's why Wirecutter calls it an invaluable gift.
Gift unlimited learning. Learn from any Masterclass instructor anywhere on a smartphone, computer, smart TV, or even audio mode.
Masterclass always has great offers during the holidays and New Year, sometimes up to as much as 50% off. So head over to masterclass.com/demoted for the current offer.
That's up to 50% off at masterclass.com/demoted.
Masterclass.com/demoted.
Should we get into Dear Demoted?
This was Moterhead out of Raleigh, North Carolina, parentheses, Silicon Valley of the East.
Which we'll discuss later.
A brutal stretch. I'm a lady in sales at a large tech company. I spent the last 4 years as a remote employee. I am on camera on Zoom calls all day with clients and colleagues. I wear minimal makeup, really just mascara, and I look okay thanks to Zoom's touch-up functionality. If things were to change and I had to go into the office, I know I wouldn't look nearly as polished as other ladies with my current makeup and hair routine. Some roles could get away with this, but I don't think women in sales can. Makeup is expensive, bad for your skin, and time consuming. Male colleagues aren't obligated to deal with the same primping that females are. What do you think about the hair/makeup in the workplace? Is it a requirement, an obligation? Is it different for different genders, different roles? Something we should just deal with. Nat, I know you have to do full makeup probably every day of your life and probably think I'm being a little bitch. Either way, let me know. That was like a weird slapped herself. Like
slapped herself, slapped me, punched me in the gut.
And then called herself a bitch.
Yeah. I mean, love the pod, y'all. Okay. So a couple things here. Yes, it's different for different genders. Of course, no one's asking a man to, put some concealer under his eyes unless it's me to Ross and I say you have butthole eyes, do something about it.
That's true.
But so we actually do have that standard here. And Ross says, your makeup looks bad, fix it. So we have the mutual.
I have never ever said that.
Ross is so sweet to me. He never says it, but you do
did
wear
let me know I have a
makeup
gap
every
in my
day.
teeth though last week.
I did. Did that hurt?
I'm still thinking about it. Yeah.
It's because I love you. And I want you to look your best.
For sure.
I want to
get... Those retainers went in as soon as I got home.
Of course. Yeah. 2 p.m. Popped them in. Ow.
God damn. You're tight.
You do not have to wear makeup if you don't want to. I do think you don't want to be the office catfish. So if you're using the Zoom touch-up functionality or you're face tuning your photos or you're like altering your appearance in any way, then you can't go to the office with no makeup and scare people, right? You gotta keep up to those standards that you've set for yourself.
Yeah.
So I would just avoid using filters. Like I don't do it on my stuff. I think it hurts when then I meet fans and you don't want to look like a total catfish. I think that's your worst nightmare.
Someone did tell me I look better in person recently.
Someone did tell me the same. And I was like, thank you. I posted my acne pimple patches the other night.
That is good, right? To be better in person.
Yes, you always want to be better in person. Yeah, okay. Pleasantly surprised. The worst is when you have a photo from 20 years ago. I just posted a LinkedIn post about headshots. You're still rocking your photo from 20 years ago that looks nothing like you, or even worse, the AI generated headshots.
Okay, wow, relax.
Do you have an AI generated headshot?
My yellow one is AI. It's a really good one though.
Well, you're on some. That's okay.
I'll switch it eventually. It just has a nice background. Okay, look, I'm sorry.
But anyway, you don't have to wear makeup in the workplace. Never set that standard for yourself. While I do wear a full face of makeup, it's because I enjoy putting on makeup. It's a fun process for me. I like being girly, feeling pretty, working with different types of makeup. And I've always been that way. In 5th grade, I was begging my mom to wear a mascara. I was just such a girly girl. And so that's me, but it doesn't have to be you. And I think honestly, too much makeup is hurtful. Too much makeup is hurtful from the bro's perspective. Yeah. You would want to be less is more. I think a little mascara, you're setting yourself up for success. Yeah. I'm full clown face every day. And that's just me. Becca wears little to no makeup. Ross's wife. Little to no makeup. She looks gorgeous. And then when you put on makeup, it's oh my God, stunning. I'm going to be on my wedding day and look the exact same as I do in the Demoted podcast. Hot. Right? Which is a pretty consistent 7. I'm going to be shit-faced in the corner. Yeah. Ross is at table 99 trying to give a speech. Here. Shing, 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 shing. So speaking of, Listen. Please leave my wedding. Oh my God. You are not a little bitch. You don't have to wear makeup. That's my advice. You're not a little bitch. And we're not going to let Ross weigh in on that. That's true. Okay. This one is submitted by Pro Sales Veep. Have you ever used, quote, make it a poem for a Copilot AI on Microsoft Outlook? When is this appropriate? I discovered it recently while wordsmithing an email after letting go an underperforming sales rep. Obviously not appropriate, but I fucking died when I read it. See attached screenshot. Oh God, I'm excited. Here we go. Good afternoon, team. I hope this finds you well. I have some news I need to tell. As of today, it is true. Ryan and Kelly bid adieu. Their departure not taken light, a decision tough and tight. Surprising it may be, please reach out if you need me. Questions, concerns, do not fear. I'm here for you, always near. That's fucking hilarious. Why didn't we fire someone with a poem? Especially around Christmas time. It feels kind of Christmassy. I don't know why. It does. The Yuletide greetings. Cheer. Yeah. Should you fire someone with a poem? No. Should you play around with this AI feature in Copilot? Probably. Yeah. Probably. That's hilarious. That's fucking funny. Send it. Send that shit. Oh God. Okay. This is submitted by Spicy Muffin. Okay. God, I love the names. I'm ill. We're a small biz, but we run contests for some of the biggest brands in the world. For context, I'm in an executive position. I'm a high achiever and have been promoted several times and will again soon. There's a reason for sharing this, ... It doesn't sound like you're just a huge gloating asshole, which is perfect because I love that there's context coming. There's a contest with massive golf prize. So I let my friend who is a golf addict know about the contest. He entered fairly 80 plus times in hopes he'd win. In fact,
The whole contest had less than double those entries, and most other people had only entered once or twice. One of my colleagues that report to me is the person who does the sweepstakes draws. That person is my weakest team member, and I will have to let them go soon. But I want to rig the draw so my friend will win. To be fair, he already has 50% chance of winning, but I don't want to ask my colleague to do a favor and rig the contest because then he would have dirt on me when I need to fire him. Do I leave it up to chance? Do I take the risk to my career trajectory? Morally, am I a bad human? I'm sure this stuff happens everywhere. If I can help one of my best friends out, I can think of many worse ways to break the rules. Love the pod, would love the feedback. Ooh.
Should you risk your job so that your buddy can win a golf sweepstakes? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily.
He entered 50 times and has a 50% chance of winning. I think let's leave it up to chance.
80 plus times.
And you don't involve yourself.
Yeah, I don't think you need to do that.
I actually have such a vendetta against like rigging sweepstakes and things.
Same.
Like my friend Victoria just did Vic's Giving, and she has people submit and like comment, and she uses a generator to very fairly pick someone to win.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the only way to do it. I see these sweepstakes things and I'm like tagging 3 friends in the comments. I'm getting involved. I'm like, when am I ever going to win? You know, when's my chance to win? Totally. And I think if you're rigging it, which a lot of them are, that's not fair.
Yeah.
I'm so stuck on fairness in my life.
That's part of the reason I don't do them very often, because making the goddamn generator with all the names and just pick me a random one. I have to get all the names in there.
You got to do it fairly.
No, you have to do it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you have to do.
What do you think this guy should do?
I think you should not rig it.
If you want to help your buddy out, get him a golf club, get him a new driver. I don't know.
Like, there's a contest with a massive golf prize. I mean, you know, is it like a round with Tiger Woods
at Augusta?
Like maybe. Well, now we're into the territory of
rigging it. Do you get any benefit from this, or do you just love your friend?
Yeah, I still don't understand why we need being the high achiever promoted several times, but
thanks for that context. Spicy muff.
I don't think that person. Yeah, you're going to fire this person. Like, I don't think there's really a lot of, he rigged the golf contest. Like, I don't know. I think we're making some jumps here that are unimportant anyway. I wouldn't rig the contest. Probably just period. Wouldn't do that.
No.
And I also don't think it matters. Like, you're going to fire that person. That's okay.
Yeah.
Separate. I don't think those really link too much. So
can we do a quick what's good? I mentioned the boat party.
Yeah.
But did you do anything this weekend? I have a fun story from Friday.
Do you tell a fun story from Friday while I think of what I even did yesterday?
So Friday, one of Matt's friends was playing in the Stanford undergrad hockey club team. And they were playing at the Oakland Ice Arena.
Okay.
And they were playing Cal. And we all went. We're thinking we're going to be the only fans in the crowd.
Right.
But Cal has, of course, brought 1,000 fans and their entire band. And
sweet.
The fans are, I'm sorry, it's a Friday night, but the nerds who like would love to go to a club hockey game.
Yeah, yeah.
And these 19-year-old dudes are trying to actually fight us the entire game. And there was this 5'3" little man who was like, oh yeah, you guys think it's not cool to be here? Blah, blah, blah. And we'd be like, this is a club sporting event, please. Like, we've done nothing but cheer for our friend. Like, we're 30 years old, you're 19. Like, if you could just calm down. I don't know what cocaine you've been doing in the bathroom, little guy, but whatever.
Share it or get out of my face.
And he comes up to one of our friends and like is looking up at him and he's like, oh yeah, you want to mess with me? He goes, you're literally 5'3", bro. You are literally 5'3". And he goes, that was rude. And he walks away. And I was just like, this is hilarious. I can't stop laughing. The whole event was so funny. People were getting ejected from the game.
Oh, yeah.
This one Stanford player broke this guy's jaw like in a fight and they both got kicked out. Like and Stanford lost. It was like 17-3.
Oh God.
Our guys were banging against the glass, getting involved. Like it was so funny. I can't even describe to you. Like I would want to spend every Friday night there. I want to be buried at the Oakland Ice Arena.
That sounds utterly electric.
The full band was there. Yeah. They had 3 conductors.
How many empty seats
shifting
are in this
out?
place?
I'm going to put a couple videos here of the band. The sax players did a solo where they laid down in front of all the fans and played a full song laying down.
Nice.
I'm like, I love it here. What is this nerdy euphoria? Like, I'm obsessed. I was like, do you guys think this is the club band or the actual band? They're like, given it's 100 people, I'm going to go with the actual band.
Yeah.
But
let it be known that us old heads did win the flag football championship at Stanford.
Good.
Against all the undergrads.
Did you get to play in the stadium?
We did, yeah.
I went to that last year. Yep. So fun.
Yep. Had a disgustingly awesome touchdown there, and we beat the baseball/lacrosse team.
Okay.
So
it's always fun in GSB when you're playing with like D1 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Well, we're playing against like current Stanford athletes who are like playing other sports that aren't like their main sport, but they're in good shape. They're youthful. Really quick, I'm going to read a super short review. This is from Hoftron 9000. It's titled Unicorn Pod. The only talking head podcast I can tolerate. Just excellent stuff. Promoted.
We wrote that. No, I'm kidding.
We wrote that. I'm Huftron.
Thank you
9000.
so much, Huftron.
Hoftron.
Couple shout outs.
Couple shouties.
If you guys aren't aware, this is where you can shout out your colleague, friend, roommate, ex. We'll say it all. Hey, Natalie and Ross, I'd like to shout out my best friend, Brenda, the baddest girl boss around. If I was as brave as you, I'd quit my job and start my own business like you did. You know what? Do it. We don't know who submitted it, but fucking do it.
Renda, congratulations on paving your own path. We love that for you. All right. Number 2, Sup Motorheads. Big ol' shout out to, quote, the dog, Byron, for hitting Q3 quota. First quarter after ramping. Love the pod. Congrats, Byron.
I love the name Byron.
The dog.
I used to work in 5th grade for a boy named Byron who would sell high chews, and I was one of his SDRs.
Nice.
He got expelled.
Oh.
I didn't, though.
What did he get expelled for?
Peddling high chews.
You couldn't do that.
He got suspended.
I had a candy dealer in high school.
When they just opened the coat, Byron, how are you doing, buddy?
He had a locker of everything.
Thanks for employing me in 5th grade. I was always hustling.
Yeah.
Email us your corporate confessions and dear Demoteds.
Please do that.
Lay off that like button kindly.
Mentor the subscribe button for sure.
Yeah.
See it quarterly. See it daily.
Leave a review about mentorship and how we are your mentors.
On Apple Pods or Spotify, please. Contact a Demoted Podcast if you have suggestions, questions, concerns, a mentor for me.
As always, tune in next week on
Demoted. Demoted.